Welcome back, y'all, to the Conscious Connection, where we keep the lines of communication open. My name is Marquise C. Copper,
I'm Javon Moore.
Hi, I'm Fatima.
and let's get into it. Today, we decided to kind of go back a little bit to episode 2, Who Has a Heart of Men and Women. But particularly, we're going to focus on who loves harder. Some could say who loves more authentically, but who really loves harder, men and women? Yeah, because Von laughed, he going first.
Because I mean, like, you genuinely think about it. Men absolutely love harder than women. When a husband and wife like are together for a very long time, right? And let's just say the husband dies, right? Women immediately remarries. She out living her life. She's traveling. She's doing whatever she wants.
Is that factual?
That is absolutely factual. Men are immediately depressed. Men go through a longer depression after a mate dies than women.
Where'd you find that?
No, that's just life. That's like, have you not seen that? In fact, there is statistics. I'll look it up right now.
I don't know that many widows, but I don't know that is the process of
Okay.
grief.
How about this? After a breakup, women move on faster, and that's actual factual.
I think they process it differently. I think there are two different, like, the way they process it is completely different. So I don't think moving on faster is really it.
What do you mean process it different?
Like, and the idea of like stages, like I think that maybe men will show up a different way when they first have a breakup, and then afterwards maybe they'll hurt, versus maybe a woman might hurt in the beginning and then afterwards not. And I think it really just depends on, again, obviously length of relationship and what kind of relationship they had. Why did it exactly end? Because obviously, like, if it's like infidelity or cheating or something like that, that's gonna change the way someone's gonna like process a breakup. Or
that's true, infidelity. But I'm talking about as in like a clean breakup where it was an emotional.
What the heck is that?
A clean breakup.
I don't know, like you guys both don't like you guys both agree you're not going the same way, and you kind of need to.
Bingo, a clean breakup.
How is that
like,
clean?
I think that's clean, because the idea that you have to end up with a person is like, I think that's skewed.
Just
like if you go into every,
So you guys agreed to just not
just
at
to
one
stop
point
being
you
together.
said
I think it's
considered a clean. Like,
I think a clean is probably like, it's not
no cheating.
I think it's also just like, this wasn't just a negative experience. Maybe we just realized we're not for each other type of experience.
Well, a breakup's always a negative experience.
but you know what they call it, a breakup, right?
Because you're breaking up, because you're no longer
But the whole point
together.
of dating someone is you should always have the expectation that this may or may not work out. Like, that is the simple truth of a relationship. It might work out or it might not. And no matter what, it's either going to be positive, or I don't want to say negative because someone breaks up, but no matter what, you're going to be hurt if you are now released from someone that you just created an attachment with.
Yeah.
So no matter what, it's going to come with feelings. But when you add infidelity or cheating or all that, it complicates your feelings of like, hey, maybe this is the person that I really loved. And then they betrayed me or did this or that to me. That's going to come with different feelings and different things that you have to process going forward.
Does emotional cheating count in that?
Emotional cheating is a dirty cheating. As in, like, off bat, someone is hurt more than the other person.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
I mean, a clean breakup is just like, okay, you didn't wrong me, I didn't wrong you, but you're going this pathway, I'm going this pathway, or we're just not compatible.
It's the reason for breaking up. If you're breaking up because someone else did it, of course that's not a clean break, because you're probably mad.
Yeah, broke up with them. I'm tight. But I say that all to say.
Emotionally cheat. What I mean by that is like, if you choose someone else to open up to, that you shouldn't be telling your spouse, or should be telling the person you're getting to know.
Well, at that point, then there's probably an issue that's already happening that you're speaking to that person about. And while it might not be appropriate to go to that person, again, it depends. Like, is this your best friend? Is this someone, like, how long is the relationship? Is this a real confident? Well, sorry.
Best friend.
When I say best friend, I mean, is this a confidant? Because you can't be expected to not speak to any, like, obviously there's a level of respect, and you should be communicating your relationship. But when you're trying to process whether or not
you
you want to
shouldn't be having no guy best friends.
Oh, I didn't say anything about having a guy best. I'm sorry. Were we?
But emotional cheating is just with.
Oh.
I mean, you can't really emotional cheat with.
But then, yeah, circumstantial, because it's just inappropriate. And like, I truly think, like, especially like if you're in a relationship, like I've had conversations about this, like where like if you're gonna open up to someone, you don't want to open up the possibility for that other person to no longer respect someone that you might still continue in a relationship with. So you have to be careful about how you speak about someone to other people, because you're coming at it with, oh, you love this person and this is what they might be doing, and you can choose to accept or not accept or process what you think, like how you feel about whatever they're doing.
That's a fact.
However, if you're coming to someone that doesn't have that same background with them, I don't fully think that their response is always going to be appropriate, because that person has no background for them. Like, you know, everything, you need some background. You can be mad when you see a video of someone acting a certain way, but then you get background, it changes your perspective. It's the same thing with like how you're like
that's what's that called? That's called vantage point, or basically the way everyone's seeing something. But for all that to say, back to the topic at hand, I definitely still think that men love harder than women, just off the fact that in situations like that, in dirty breakups, in clean breakups, most of the time, men don't have a support system after they break up. It's literally known in statistics that women have, they form more groups.
Yeah, they do.
Right? They form more friend groups.
Yeah.
Women can make friends instantly. You could go into a girl's bathroom and come out with 10 best friends.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, they come out
Like,
with,
honey, don't worry about him. He no
Exactly.
good. Give me
I
your
feel
number.
like, but that's
10
a
best
different,
friends.
like that's a different conversation also, because like you think of like the idea of like privilege. It's like
But that's
men
hold on.
having, men
You done messed up, Aaron!
and not having a support system versus women having a support system. I'll like touch on that lightly. It's just like, if a woman's good at making friends, it doesn't make sense to fault her and be like, oh, you're like, it is a privilege to have people you love, but they're not just privileged. They went out and made those friends.
No, but I'm not saying as in like that's
Sorry.
privilege, but I say that to say that men love harder because women have a support system. Yes, women are better at making friends, but because you're better at making friends, your love is spread out. Men has like a focal point, right? When I'm with a woman, that's like all my love, all my attention. I'm probably hanging out with her majority than I'm
I don't
hanging
think
out
that's
with my other
reasonable.
friends.
I
Huh?
don't think that's reasonable. It's like faulting someone else for not putting all their eggs in one basket. In general, expectation wise, you should never be putting everything on one person, because one person is never going to fully fulfill you, or you're just putting the burden on them of being your everything. And then just,
But that's
if you're
how men
going-
love.
But
Men love in like an absolute. My thing is,
but how does that count as loving harder? Just because something feels intense doesn't mean you love harder. I think
women demand a man does that.
Bars.
Sorry,
No.
repeat
So
one more
hear me
time.
out.
Women demand that a man does what?
Women demand that men love them harder. My thing is, I'm not talking about like just like individuals, but I'm talking about in general, women as a whole. You can see countless times it'll be like, oh, well, you're hanging out with your friends too much. Why don't you come hang out with me? Oh, they're demanding a man's full-on love and attention, right? But my thing is, the difference is when a man, he doesn't really care too much. Oh, I'm about to hang out with the girls. Go have fun. Do you? I'm about to play the game.
I think that's an odd way to look at it, because it just again boils down to expectation. Just because if someone needs to, not just wants to, but like feels they need to be loved a certain way for them to feel loved, then they already know what they need to feel loved, and they're communicating and asking for that. Just because you need less doesn't mean that the other person is asking for too much. They're asking for what they need. They're communicating what they need. And then they decide going forward whether or not you can fulfill those needs, or at least in a healthy, like when you have a healthy mindset of that, you set your expectations. If someone doesn't meet it, you decide moving forward, are you okay with accepting less? Or are you going to walk away? Like, I feel like it always boils down to expectations, everything. Like,
I agree,
a
but
man,
that's a
if he's
mature
not
way of looking at
expecting
something.
much, but a woman might be expecting more, like the healthiest way to look at that is, maybe that doesn't mean he's a bad person or a negative person. It just means, wait a second, he might not be able to fulfill my emotional needs or what I need to feel loved. And so I have to go away so that or in the relationship, so that I'm not I don't want to say mad at him for whatever reason, because I truly don't believe that you can be, actually situationally, I think that you can't be mad at someone for not being what you need, I feel like that's not going to come out properly.
Take your time. But what you just said right there was emotional, right? So my thing is, women are emotional creatures, are they not? Mm-hmm. Okay. Men are more
I got
physical
such a big
creatures,
rebuttal
right?
for that one.
I
but
mean,
we
I
can
don't,
do that later.
it's a soft degree, but
No,
I don't know.
I'm talking about in general, right? When women feed off their emotions, men feed off physical, right?
Wrong answer.
Oh no. That's.
I want to
that's
hear you finish your
110%.
thought. I want
Huh?
to just hear you finish your thought of where you're going.
Okay, right. So women are emotional creatures, right? They always want to listen. They need you need reconfirm. I want to listen to my emotions. That's why when women are complaining, they want no. I don't want the solution. I want you to hear what I'm saying and empathize with what I'm saying, right? Men are more physical. They'll just like listen. I have a problem. Tell me how I'm going to fix it, right? You have emotional. You have physical, right? Now because of that, women also need more emotion, right? I need to feel like you want to be around me. I need to feel like you want me here, right? Men are just like, I need you to physically show me that you love me, right? I need for you to respect that I'm saying this, right? Okay, I need you to do this. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. See, now men are loving that because she showed a sense of respect.
But I think that all you did was describe expectations.
So no, there's a
Okay.
reason why I described it, right? So with that being said, going back to the whole thing of the fact that women are demanding more emotions from men is because they're emotional creatures. You just established that, right? So because women demand more emotions from men, now it's just like, okay, I got to give all my time, all my emotions to you so you can feel love. And now that's something I have to take away from somewhere else. All right, boys, I can't hang out with you tonight. Why? Because by me sacrificing my time with you, I'm showing my wife I love her. And because I'm doing that, my friends are getting less. They're doing what they need to do. And I'm giving her more attention. And at
It
the
sounds
end,
like what you're describing is a relationship.
No, exactly.
No, seriously, because okay, you have I talk about this with a lot of people with how much time I have. I love meeting new people. I love making new friends, but reasonably, I do not have enough time to take on every single one, and I love to invest in people. I have 7 days in a week. I work full time. I do volunteer work full time. I also I have a lot of things going on. So yeah, if I'm adding someone in, I'm
investing.
making the time for them.
I get it.
A lot of the times when people think of like, okay, this might be inconvenient, but I'm choosing to because I value this person's company. Everything requires a sacrifice. If I'm going to add a new person into my life and decide that this person is going to be very important to me, how am I going to invest in them if all my time's already taken up?
So, but
If my whole thing's full, like I have to take something out. I have to adjust because
Exactly.
that's how relationships work. With everything, you think about your parents when you move out. Are you not making time for them when you move out? Does that not take away from you? It's not the same. It's not as easy, but that's how relationships work.
But check
And
this
so
out,
okay,
right?
go.
No. That's a perfect definition, right? But you have to understand when you do that, men will be like, all right, cool. I'll take this out. I'll take this out, right? And that's all I'm taking out. But then for a woman, it's just like, that's not enough, right? But for a man, whatever you take out attention wise, that's good enough. Why? Because a man can be satisfied with just himself. Right, like I don't need your attention 24/7. You want to do that? You want to do that?
Oh
do
my
you?
goodness.
That's a fact.
I'm sorry. I know you have a thought.
I'm about to extra gent because I can't even interject at this point.
That's a fact. Me and me been going out. Go
My
ahead.
brother, I can't even say that's every man because me personally, I would sacrifice my time with the boys to be with my woman, and it's not like, oh, I have to do this or I want to be with her.
Okay, but no.
I want to be there.
That's okay.
At the end of the day, I ain't married to my boys.
No.
Y'all can go over
Agree,
there.
right? But my thing is now you have your connection to your men are less. Your connection with your girl is just as close to that. So above that, between your girl and your guys, whose relationship is stronger? Like your relationship with your girl is stronger, or your relationship with your guy is stronger after you put them on the back burner?
My girl.
Your girl, right?
Correct.
So because your relationship with your girl is stronger, right? Let's just say out of nowhere, she ends up dying. Of course your boy's gonna be there, but they're not close to you anymore like that. Right? So of course some nights you're gonna be by yourself, this and that. But my point to what I was trying to say was women don't do that. Women don't compromise that type of relationship. Women are super like they don't compromise their women friends for their relationship
You
with
know what
their
that
men.
sounds like?
Huh?
That
Well
sounds like a
played.
you problem.
I beg your pardon?
Honestly,
Wow.
your friend, like you don't need to put your friends on the back burner. And also, I think in certain level of healthy relationships, you should have people that have an adjusted expectation of how your friendship will change and are able to move forward from there. And you brought up this example of like marriage. If someone's getting married, they're dedicating their life to someone else. like you should have the expectation that you have less access because they are your friend.
So why don't
they are
women
not,
do
they
it?
are not, you don't own them.
So
You
why
don't
don't
own
women do
Well,
it?
time out, because that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah,
What she
that's
just
it. That's
said is
it.
where I
So
was
if
going.
it's a me problem, why don't women do it?
Why don't women do what? I'm so sorry.
Why don't women change their relationship?
You answered your own question.
Because I guarantee what.
But-
Earlier, before I'm
No,
gonna let
speak,
you get it real quick. But earlier you said that women are more emotional and they need other emotions around them. So if women are emotional, she gotta have her friends around. That's the emotion that you miss.
So no, I got no.
Based off what you said.
I
It
don't.
sounds
No,
like
no,
an
no, no. I
inability
agree.
to fulfill your own, like to fulfill your own needs. If it's physical, if it's having someone around,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's as simple as that, you have to understand that you don't own another person. If you don't meet another person's expectation of what they need, why should they stay to make sure that you continue to be happy? If your happiness in a relationship and like what's it called is based off of someone's presence. Like, okay, just them being there. Like, first of all, that sounds like an object. It sounds like a dog. You could get that from a lot of different
Hold on.
things.
But isn't that what a relationship is? You can't have a relationship if the person's not
like
there.
you're choosing to this is not going to be a good simplification, but you're choosing to like interact in that person or invest in that person in your life in whatever way it could be. Again, there are different types of relationships, but it's an active choice on both ends. It's an active choice on both ends. So if your thing is like what makes you happiest in a relationship is the physical and just having the person there, and so when they're gone you're distraught, like that's just how a relationship works. That's just how, like, if it ends, you're mad, you're sad, whatever, like that's just you processing your own emotions from that person not being there.
But
It's not their
it hits
obligation to
men
stay if you don't meet their expectations of what they need, because they deserve to also find what they need.
But it hits men harder than it does women. Women will be like, "Oh my goodness, that's sad." Blase, blase. Move on, because why? They're just like, "Well, he's gone." Listen, ladies, remember all those times I couldn't hang out with y'all? Let's go do this. Let's go do that.
So in the idea of a man's of a relationship in the idea of men's friendship when the man does neglect his boys to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
This is the perspective you're speaking from, that specific one. Mm-hmm. You believe that because of that men love harder, or maybe those particular men love harder.
Bingo. Men love harder. Yeah.
You know,
Bingo.
but I said those particular men.
Those particular, but one thing is, if we're talking about majority, are we not talking about majority?
I'm just fishing for more of your, like, exactly what opinion you have.
Okay. So we're talking about majority and not an individual, right? Because again, we can always talk about, of course, there's certain individual men who probably don't do like that. There's certain individual women who don't move like that. That's an individual. But we're talking about a majority overall, right? Majority overall, you'll find more men distraught and they'll die faster right after their mate has died versus women.
You ever seen a child throw a tantrum?
I don't like where that went. I don't like where that went.
He throw tantrums
I
all the
don't, I
time.
don't, I don't like where that
You
went.
ever, but
I don't-
genuinely, they have intense emotions. You know, they're learning to process it. They don't really have. They're not ready. They don't have the emotional stability to like sit there and reason when they're overwhelmed with emotion.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like that. I wouldn't be like, children love harder than parents, because of the fact that they have this like just super massive intense.
I don't
set
agree
of-
with that comparison.
like maybe it's not an exact comparison, but I'm trying to draw what's it called, just
I don't know.
the idea that you're presenting that a man loves more intensely because when the relationship ends he's so much more distraught or like has more feelings, but just so like
Bingo.
just
But you
like,
have to understand
that doesn't add up for me.
But see, with that,
I don't think
with
that's-
that analogy, they're throwing tantrums. All that stuff is because they aren't emotionally developed. So my thing is, that's the only way they know how to express their emotions, because they don't fully understand their emotions. Men are full-grown men who understand their emotion towards their wife, but my thing is, their wife was.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, here it goes.
I
Don't agree with
either.
which with her or me, because
you.
that's
Yeah.
I'm
You,
flipping
because
tables, bro.
you
I'm
said
flipping
man.
tables out here. Nah.
said
That's
flipping
crazy.
tables.
I'm flipping tables out here.
I don't agree with that, because majority of men do not know their own emotions. They don't. That's why men are so quick to commit suicide versus actually speaking out. We
No.
rather bottle it up. No. We rather men are.
You
committing
said in the
suicide
beginning
10 times
women
more
are
than men.
emotional creatures. You
They
did
are.
not say that of men, so go
So
on.
this is my.
But he's
do
saying
what you
men
said earlier.
don't control their emotions.
No, men don't. That's why we bottle it up, and that's why we end up doing things that hurt us even more. There are more men who are druggies, more men who commit suicide. There are more men who are alcoholics. Why? There are things we deal with and we just don't talk about it. We just let it sit inside of us and let it fester.
But that's not controlling emotions. That's more bottling emotions.
That is controlling your emotions. Because if you have the ability to bottle it up, you have the ability to speak it out.
Message.
That's not true.
You're
Oh,
controlling
that's
where
not
it
true.
goes.
That's not true.
You're controlling where it goes.
Bottling emotions. My
You're
thing is-
bottling your emotions. You're just saying it to yourself.
No, but
You're
saying
controlling.
if you have the strength to bottle your emotions, but not the strength to speak it out, because that's the same thing. That's not true. Because my thing is, it's very easy to be like, let's just say, right, you stepped on my toe, right? You stepped on my toe. I ain't saying nothing about it. It is what it is, right?
You chose to do that.
Yeah. But my thing is, it's easy for me to be like, all right, you know what? It's over. It's done. Let's get over it. But you come back, step on my toe. For me to say something to you, I have to run through a list of factors. Oh my goodness, what's gonna happen next? What if I say something and I offend him? And now this is my thing is, it's a list of things. It's like, what happened? He punched me in the face. Now I got in a fight. Now
Do
friendship
you
is
have
over.
control over if you choose to use that list or not?
I know, but what you said was bottling emotions is just as easy as speaking them out.
I didn't say it's just as easy.
What'd you say?
I said bottling your emotions.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say the word easy. I know I didn't say the word
I don't
easy.
think you said
Play that
easy.
back. Because if you have the ability to bottle it up, you have the ability to speak it out. I didn't say the word easy. Bottling your emotions is an option. It's a matter of control. If you understand your emotions, you know how to put your emotions in check. But not saying something because you're trying to watch out for what the consequences of those actions are not the same as understanding your emotions.
Correct.
You're putting yourself in control over those things. Just like with a child with a tantrum. That child has to learn how to use control. But their control only goes as far as what they know. So going into when a man has control of their own emotions, yes, majority of men, for the most part, do not understand their emotions, period. Women do understand their emotions a little bit better, and they also know how to let it out. That's why they're quick to cry. Sorry, ladies, y'all are quick to cry. Y'all quick to cry. You're quick to yell, scream. And you know what's funny? How many times I've seen my mom yell at me for no reason, an hour later come back to say she loved me and I'm sorry? She gets it out so it doesn't hurt her later.
Drama.
Now, that is very trauma. That is
Trauma.
true. That is very traumatic. I will say that, not very trauma, very traumatic. That
It's
is.
a generation.
But you're seeing the difference. You said it before, right? Women are more emotional, right, with men.
Okay.
More emotional. When a man's mother dies, what's the first thing that most of these men do?
Oh, no, that man has changed forever
Why?
because that's his mother.
How many women have you seen lose their mama, their sister, their daddy, their uncle, their cousin, and they're still the same person?
Nothing, immediately,
How
all
many
of
have
them.
you seen?
All of them. I've never
They're
seen.
still
I've
the
never
same
seen a woman
person,
who lose. Yeah, absolutely.
Because for men, it's an emotional shock to actually let something out.
What do you get at that? What do you mean?
So you said before that women are more emotional. I have this rebuttal for many different people. In my opinion, women are more emotional. They know how to conduct it and they know how to execute it. Men are way more emotional and we do not know how to use it at all.
What do you mean? Don't know how to use?
We do not know how to use it. We don't know how to use our emotions. For most
That's
of
such
us.
an interesting perspective.
What, men don't know how to use their emotions?
Nope.
No, what he said that he said that he thinks that men are more emotional and that they
More
don't know
emotional than
how
men.
to.
The problem is they live in emotion. We're still trying to figure it out.
Women live in emotion,
What an
and we're
interesting
trying to figure
perspective.
out emotion.
And we're the more emotional one.
I don't think we're
We're
more
emotional cavemen.
I'm the emotional caveman.
I told you he was a child. I told you. But we're emotional cavemen. And it's not just my take. If you really understand how emotions play into how we deal with different things in life, there are times when we make emotional decisions versus when women make emotional decisions. A woman may do something in the middle and it may be something like, yo, that don't make no sense whatsoever. But we'll do something that we think makes sense and it'll be the dumbest thing we ever did in our life. Because it may make sense, but emotionally speaking, it makes no sense at all.
Listen.
I'm gonna go back to that, right? Let me go back to it, right?
Okay.
Say you have a daughter. Something happens to your daughter. As a father, how quick are you to jump at something else? Say like, oh, them boys on the street trying to hit my daughter. How quick are you to do that? That doesn't come from knowledge. That doesn't come from intellect. That comes from emotion.
No, I think that
You
comes
react
from instinct.
out of emotion.
That comes from instinct.
Instinct is a
very
part of
instinct.
emotion.
That's true.
Whoa, instinct is not an emotion.
Instinct is part of emotion.
What emotion would instinct be a part of?
Instinct
Rage,
is the reaction
anger.
based on your emotion. I feel like actually, is
I'll
that
accept
what
that. I'll accept that.
If someone like Oh, they'll beat me up
Innate.
down the street. Whoever them is, you about to go whoop their behind. That's anger, rage, vengeance. Those
Maybe-
are all emotions.
Maybe instinct, I feel like, is an innate reaction to an emotion.
Correct. Your reaction is an emotional. Almost everything we do as men is emotional reactions. There's just times when we put it in check and times when we don't.
We need to come back to this, what you were saying, so we can get to this. I realize as I'm speaking that like I'm not presenting I don't know that I have my thoughts fully developed on whether I fully think that men love more than women. I know that I don't agree with it, with the logic that's being presented. I've not been presented with something that
So you don't
was
have an
grounded
official
in-
stance. You just don't like my reasoning.
It's not that I don't have an official stance. I would like to, if I'm going to speak up, I'd like to present actual examples. And I just know, as I'm realizing as I'm speaking, none of your examples make sense.
Stop the cap.
Not one of them.
I cannot confirm.
Not one of them.
Except for-
I mean,
But,
maybe that's it. I'm busy trying to negate, and maybe that could be my own problem. But yeah,
Okay.
I think I've never been presented with I have not been presented
fair argument.
with
That's what you're
fair
trying to say.
argument to make sense to have such a bold or clear answer to that. Because
So you
everything
don't
that
think
you've said, I
women
feel it
love
just sounds
harder,
like
you
a
don't
rela-
think men love harder.
pardon?
So you don't think women love harder, you don't think men love harder. You're gonna float in between the lines.
I want to say, and again, I'm open to discussion, but I think that I feel like that women love harder. I'm thinking specifically of the kind of love that comes from a mother, like that kind of love and bond that is created in that process already is that, not that obviously men can love their children, like there's a different bond that's created.
So you're
That's
talking about
already fully
nurturing.
that's already fully ingrained in a woman. Was it called? And if she hasn't had a baby, it does not matter. That was ingrained in her mother. And if she's had like whatever relationship with the mom, obviously there are negative ones. If she has a good relationship with the mother, that kind of feeling is still passed on. Who is passing on that intense love?
So
Usually a
nurturing.
mother. Like I'm thinking of that type of origin. And so when I think of a woman loving a man, obviously there are sometimes it can be that, like, I know the argument is where women are in love with the idea of loving this and that, but like when you go down to like, oh, do they love someone? Like there's intense love that they've already like learned from their mom. And I think even when like a man loves, like that's coming from being loved. To love is coming from being loved. Obviously, even if you have a terrible situation, you could obviously learn to love someone, but like to a certain extent, it has an origin. And I think it usually comes from that innate bond with a mother. And so I feel like I do think men can love very intensely when they choose to love someone. Because I've seen that argument where people are like, oh, a man, what's it called? Like men love more because when they actually choose, they choose. I don't think that is a fair argument.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I see it. You're talking about basically nurturing mothers have that's your opinion of being loved. I'm sticking with my thought. I honestly do feel that men love harder just off the fact that women prioritize their friends over their relationships, while men prioritize the women they're with over everything. And I feel like in that definition, men will always love harder than women. It's just, I honestly just feel like that. Marquise, what's yours?
I feel like we take too much of what we see on social media, so much what we see on what other people have to say, instead of looking at it for what it is. Unfortunately, yes, there is a stigma between what love is based off of if you are a mom or if you are a child. And of course, we are all somebody's child. But it's how you receive love and how love was given to you and the manner in which you received it that dictates how you feel about love and how you choose to receive it or choose to give it. To say that who has it harder, I would love to sit here and say that men do have it harder. And I'd love to sit here and say that women have it harder. In my opinion, I think that we all love hard. It's just in a totally different way. And unfortunately, there are casualties on both sides where men have
Completely
loved very
agree.
hard and a woman has broken their heart. And there's times when women have loved very hard and a man's broken their heart. And at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, it's what situation are you putting yourself in and what are you going to deal with? So, do men or women love harder? I guess the world may never know.
Except we do.
So from our living room to wherever you at, in your car, driving, hopefully not, because you won't get fired or, police pull you over and you're going to get locked up. Whatever it may be. See y'all later. Peace out.
Peace.